Hi guys, a little shorter session today. We'll be talking about Terra Hill's performance over the launch weekend. 38% sold with an average price of 2,650 PSF. Wow, okay. This was just a little bit above my expectation. I was just expecting an average price of just above 2,600, but apparently it has overshot my expectations. Percentage wise is about there. Just I expected a little more. Honestly, I expected a 40+%, but unfortunately went a little below that. But it's okay because the problem is that nowadays people are expecting every single launch to be Armor residence or 98%. Anything that is like less than 89, 80 something percent or 90% is deemed as a failure, which is actually not true because remember there were instances of back in 2019 there were quite a few launches, right? Then a Florence residence was sold like I think barely single digit percentage. And people think that it's a failure. But end up what happened? Prices went up like mad. It became one of the most successful launches. I'm not saying that Terra Hill will be the same thing, but it is too early to judge. So I don't judge that a certain development is considered a success or a failure just because it's sold out. And remember, there were certain instances that a few years ago there were developments that were sold out 100% on the first launch day, and then it ended up as a failure because there were much more losses than the winners eventually. Therefore, launch weekend, contrary to what everyone thinks, it is not reflective of future performance. So please do not think of that. The other nice one was the Prestige collection, which are priced from 5 million and above. They were sold at prices averaging above 2,850, as if this one is not mad enough. There were these guys that were buying the bigger units, they were getting it at 2,850 PSL. Wow, this one I really nothing to say because well I can't say much, but just can't help but say two words. Thank you, for bringing up the prices of the area, and that's why some of my clients are able to exit at a way better price than we expected. But really sincerely from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. And well, there were more than 10,000 visitors who visited the show flat. It was nice. The show flat is really nice, for especially for an RCR project. But those people who bought it just because it's nice, well, too bad. You are just not educated about the property market enough. Well, and that's why you are the ones that will be kena talk by developers. Well, I would say same thing. Thank you again. Thank you again for being the ones that are pulling our economy, pulling out our property market, because we need you, we investors, we need you to help us exit. And like I said, please for those who are not as who don't who try not to who don't spend enough time to do your homework, then you'll just be kena makan by people like savvy investors like us lah. Okay. I'm not sure whether this is a truth or not, but anyway, it's just media expectation management. I don't really dwell too much into that. As I said, this one doesn't mean that whether is it a success or is it a failure. It's just, for me, it's just for certain info. But at this point, it is enough to pull out other developments in the area. So thank you again for those of you who participate in the balloting. I really hope that you go through with your purchase, and then help the rest of my clients in the area. So the other part that is that where we recently just came out with this news article, I think about 2 days ago, that there were quite some expected fire sales in the CCR region, or even not the CCR region. There were OCR blah blah blah, but there were quite some projects that were reaching deadline. Yes, some of them may have fire sales, but the problem is that not all fire sales are good, because if you watch my channel by now, you should know that not all projects you can enter. Some projects, yes, they are still fundamentally good, but they may have fire sales. Later, I'll show you an example of what will happen. But these are what people were waiting for, ma. Remember, there were people, just wait wait for fire sales, sit on the fence, wait for fire sales. Then when time comes, we rush in together, Well, we'll talk about that later again. So this is the news article that just came out 25th. Today is 27. Yeah, 27. So 2 days ago. Let's see. Developers that were not able to sell within 5 years, you'll be liable for up to 40% ABSD, 35% goes back, 5% is non-remittable. But for those that acquired the land, whether on block GLS or whatever it is, between this date and this date, the ABSD payable is 25%. Right? But those that were acquired before, suddenly it looks cheap at 15% for a developer only. And last time, well, not last time, I mean now Singaporeans second property ABSD is already 17%. And usually developers are paying a lot more. Can you imagine how cheap it was? Therefore, if you're asking these guys to pay the 15%, if they really, really, really have to, I think they wouldn't mind actually. So things are not as simple as it is. This one we just mentioned only. And then these are the things that we may want to take note of, just because some of them may be facing certain deadlines, and a lot of these guys here, they don't write the deadline date over here, you notice. So there's a lot of it's just a media strategy, trying to get people to rah, they kind of go batshit crazy. But some of them may be the end of the year before their deadline. And then as such, are they really in a rush to sell? Especially some of them, you see quite a lot of them are already 90 something, 99%. These two guys, 99%, they don't have to go for a fire sale. How much more time do they have? All they need to do is just drop a little bit more promotion, throw in maybe some of them to do things like, or rush up the project and then tidy up and sell the house with a little bit of interior design. You will sell very fast. So must you have fire sales? And even with fire sale, is how many PSF? How many PSF is considered fire sale? 50 PSF is considered fire sale, or 100 PSF, or maybe 300-400 PSF. It really depends what you call a fire sale. And therefore, one of the concerns that people may neglect is that most of the developers are listed companies, so it will make them look bad in front of shareholders. Ultimately, the shareholders are going to flare up with them if you do not produce a good result and you end up fire sale, because you're going to make the buyers unhappy. And it's not just that, because the earlier buyers who weren't unhappy, right, and they're going to look down, they're going to spread not so good words about the developer, and next time their developments are going to be jeopardized, because unfortunately, a lot of people think that, this is a good developer, this is a reputable developer, their design are very nice. But they fail to understand that there are a lot of times that developers tend to, who your developer is doesn't mean that this development is going to be profitable or unprofitable. But a lot of people have the kind of impression, which unfortunately, same thing, if you do not go and do a due diligence, you realize that you're just listening to market talk, so it doesn't make sense. Developers may sell the remaining units to a property fund, which happens before. And then because why they chalk out ABSD, yes, but you only chalk out the ABSD on a few units. They may be 30-something%, or maybe some of them lower percentage depending on time. But ultimately, these are better than paying on the whole piece of land. Maybe some of them, they bought a land, at example, 1,500 PSF last time. Then if you plus 15%, is going to be plus 150 plus 75, so 225 PSF. It's not that they cannot afford, but it's just they choose not to do it. And so rather than paying 225 PSF on the whole piece of land, they just pay a higher percentage on a few units. So they can rent it out or sell it in time to come, when the market tends to favor these projects again. So this is basically talking about the same thing. And CCR, one thing also is that a lot of them had to be foreigner buyers. And recently, China opened up, and there were quite some CCR moving. The problem is that the public generally do not have data on how fast the units are moving. Recently, this month especially, if you have access to the chart, which I try not to show you here because they are unit numbers, so it's a bit sensitive. But we are monitoring the situation. For those of us who have subscribed to the relevant services, you realize that there are a lot of transactions almost on a daily basis. So but the problem is that most of the Singaporeans are not looking at, they are not able to have this access, and they have this impression, the economy is supposedly not doing well. Yes, supposedly it's not doing well. Workers are being retrenched, but there are also workers that are being employed nowadays also, despite this gloomy outlook here and there. So it really depends on a lot of factors. It's like telling us that, interest rate environment is high, and therefore property market is that likely to drop. But end up what happened? The market is still slowly inching up. So a lot of things doesn't really make sense if you look at it from a general point of view. Yes, there are developments that are already starting to crash or stagnate, but there are also developments that are also going to go up. That's why it is important when you're doing analysis to be as exact as possible. Well, I just cannot after recently I saw this chart. I can't. They say that the more so this one is the level of understanding. Okay, so this one is the more you understand. I can't remember which one. So basically, the more you understand, the more confidence you have. But after you reach a certain level, you realize that there are a lot of things that you don't know. So end up your confidence level drop. And later, as you study even more and more and more again, then your confidence level goes up again. And this is the part where you realize that it is really not as simple as it is. But the problem is that a lot of people are just here. They do that bare little research and they think that they are the true guru. Oh, cannot be cannot buy at this price. Once you buy after launch, you loogie, you lose, blah blah blah. And these are where the typical people who are not professionals in this industry, who are not professional analysts, they will think that, they know everything, and they try to advise the whole world on it. And the funny thing is that they get it wrong and they embarrass themselves, which is a pretty laughable thing to say. But then again, like I said, we need people like them to feed our pockets, because they are the ones that are going to be getting people, or they themselves are buying our investment property so that we can cash out, right? So it's okay. I don't have to educate the whole world, because I don't want to educate the whole world. I want people to be paying my pocket. And then, okay, so same thing, just like what I was showing. Maybe this guy is in a big trouble. This Cascadian Reserve, which is a 99 leasehold in a very, very freehold and very prestigious area. And therefore, this is an example of why would you want to buy a 99 in such an area? I don't understand. And on top of that, it's not even cheap. And I suspect there was a calculation problem when it comes to bidding for the land. And that's why this developer is stuck in this situation. But whereas, like I said, these few guys, 90-something%, and by the way, this is not very, very updated as of 23%. There are some that maybe which one? Some of them are saying, Royal Green is having a fire sale. Some of them are already sold. Yes, some of them Royal Green is having quite a bit of discount. But which one to enter? Please don't come and tell me again. Fire sale means must enter. Like I said, there are a lot of specifics to dive in. So don't just jump in. And if you are jumping in, be really clear on why are you jumping in. When are you getting out? When are you planning to get out? And how do you gauge when are you going to get out? If it's that simple, nobody will be working 9 to 5 jobs. Everyone will be trying to pounce on the property full time, right? It is not that easy. But the problem is that, after being in this line for years and then analyzing all this property data for years, I realized that not everyone has the how to say, not everyone has that kind of level of understanding, or I don't like to use the word intelligence. I don't think everyone has that kind of that level of logic to really piece everything together. So this is the problem when you have a fire sale. People, we tell them, hey, these are the certain deals. Then no, I want to wait for fire sales. Then fine, you wait for fire sales. And when fire sale really comes, this is something that I think nobody wants lah. So I think it's a bad deal lah. So see, that's the problem. You wait for fire sale, but problem is when fire sale comes, there's a lot of skepticism. So fine. I mean, yes, I agree there are some products that are not worth considering, even though they are fire sale. But then again, look at this. There are this one was a fire sale, I think just 4 years back. I think it's about 4 years back, 4+ years back now. You see this guy bought in and then managed to exit. These are profit. These are not sale price. These are profit. Imagine making $6 million in 4 years. This is fire sale. But on the other hand, this one is another example also. People think that, oh, this one freehold, hold longer lor. Never mind lor, I buy wrong already, just hold lor, hold longer. What can happen, right? And this is what happens lor. Imagine after 13, 14 years, you're losing millions. Freehold CCR. But there are some people who also hold about pretty much the same period of time, but they make quite a lot of money there. So how do you make sure that you end up in this position and not this position? Like I said, it is not as simple as it is. And even if you do enter at a certain development that may be fundamentally sound, but when are you going to exit? That is the problem. So, for those of you who play Mario, you realize, if I remember correctly, this is the piece that if you stand too long, it will drop, right? So if you are getting into a property, you jump onto the property, and then you do not know when to jump, you know which direction you're going, Okay, so that will be all we have for today. And make sure you do a due diligence and get the right professional help before you make any move. And see you guys. Bye bye.